Welcome, everybody, to this week's show. This is the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. I am your host, Russell Gibson, and this week, the mighty Joe Foo returns. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey Ross, thank you so much for having me back. Been a while actually. It's been a little while. So
Hasn't
it's
been that long.
oh,
It actually hasn't been
not
that
that we're
long, has
counting
it?
dates. Nah, probably maybe a month or two.
Yeah.
So not that long. Not
Well,
that
what's
long.
your expectations here, man? I feel like this is where expectations come into
Oh, I
the
mean, look,
conversation.
eventually we can get me on regularly if the fans allow it, but I'll settle for a month or two.
All right, all right. What's on your mind hobby-wise? I know I want to talk about the NBA Finals and all the stuff around that, but let's start with Joe Foo and what's going on in Joe Foo's hobby world.
I mean, look, man, I am still shocked from this last finals. I think a lot of people are. This is probably the best finals series I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, it was enjoyable,
Um,
wasn't it? Yeah,
I think the last time I had this much fun was when Dirk Nowitzki beat the Heatles.
yeah,
Like just in terms of shock value, in terms of entertainment, big shots getting hit, surprise stars showing up, surprise results, like the Knicks coming back from
yeah,
29 at the half.
yeah,
That should have been death. And they just like kept clawing away, and then before you know it, they're at the door looking at taking the lead.
yeah.
And yeah, they do it. They get it done. It's crazy.
I liked it for similar reasons in that I had no idea who was going to win. I didn't expect the Knicks to get to the finals. I definitely didn't expect the Spurs to get that far. So, both of those things were just awesome for me. And then I was saying this to my buddy at the gym the other day. NBA basketball at that level is absolutely elite. And when you've got the two best teams left over at the end, and every single possession they play as hard as they can, just the quality of the basketball. And then you have to throw into the freakishness of Wemby. And then you've got this guy, Jalen Brunson, who doesn't really look like an NBA player
Yeah.
but is then the best player on the court. That in itself is kind of like a sick thing to watch and sort of go through that process too. So just the whole thing for
That's
me was just super enjoyable. Yeah.
It was kind of like the flash. It was kind of like flashing back to like Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers versus Shaquille O'Neal and the Lakers. And like here's this like giant of a man
Yeah.
versus this little guy who doesn't quit.
Yeah.
And history tells us that the little guy gets stomped. And but Brunson just kept grinding away,
Yeah.
kept he didn't stop. Like he didn't get scared. He kept attacking the paint, hit some big timely threes. Like
Yeah.
they just did such a great job of just dealing with Wemby. Like Cat showed up for games 1 and 2 and then turned back into a pumpkin for the rest of the series. And, but like he did his part, honestly, like getting two
Yeah.
games out of him, like the way they did and getting the wins they did. Yeah, look, I'm not going to take it away from the guy, man. Like he did his part.
Cat's a good basketball player, and I agree with you. His numbers weren't fantastic, but he still
Yeah.
played pretty well. I think foul
Yeah.
trouble was
Yeah.
probably the thing that held him back ultimately. And then you had Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench, who was just he played really well. Like
Yeah.
his energy was fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a man. Like he's strong. Like
Yeah.
Wemby hadn't dealt with that. Chet was like a twig compared to Mitchell Robinson and Cat. So
Yeah.
here you've got these two meaty men, that are able to kind of like muscle up Wemby and not let him have his way. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty tough for him, man. And you can see the frustration
Yeah.
started to take over. After a little bit, like he still got his numbers. Don't get me wrong. Wemby's a force. I think it was a committee by the whole team. Yes, Brunson scored 45 out of like 92 points or something like that in the last game.
Yeah.
But most of the other games, the Knicks were deeper. They showed up more. The bench showed up, did their part.
I think their defensive depth was what
Mm,
really got them over the line. Like they could just defend all over the court. The best example of that for me was that layup that Fox thought he had and then OG
yeah.
chased him down. Really a coincidence that OG was in that spot, but they have that defensive versatility that they can sort of defend like that. And so
Yeah.
if
And
that had been
oh,
Bridges, if that had been
yeah,
even Cat,
Cat.
I mean, that's not the
Yeah.
best example, but
No.
someone else from the team could have challenged that shot too. I think
Yeah.
that for me was a really telling play for that whole series when it sort of all boils
And
down.
And OG getting blocks was actually a regular occurrence in that whole series. Like he just came up with timely blocks all the time. He was just he just played another level, man. he really did become the number two star on the Knicks during that playoff, and you're starting to
Yeah,
see,
right.
to bring it back to the hobby, I guess, like his value in the hobby really taking a nice little bump. Same with Brunson. There's a lot of people who, as you can see right now, the running joke online is, like, anybody got Knicks to sell? Because as soon as they won the chip, like every single post has been about the Knicks.
Yeah. You started to talk about the hobby value of OG,
Yeah,
so let's just dive into that. We can do him
yeah,
first.
yeah.
After this, we have to do Jalen Brunson, though, right? We
Of
can't give this
course.
guy any more disrespect than number
No.
two. So OG Anunoby, he's a 2017 rookie, so he's been in the league now for a few years. He's actually up 600% the last 12 months, and his last sale was $200. I think for me, the conversation that needs to be had here is not so much about the pricing, but it's about the overall spike that this guy's experienced and how much do you put into the Knicks players at the moment, considering a lot of these cards are essentially at an all-time high or even a COVID high? Do you just
Hmm.
wait for this excitement just to boil down a little bit and come back to it? So why don't we just do this narrative once? Because I feel like we
Yeah.
could sort of do this for every single Knicks players. But
Yes, we can.
yeah, I think that's for me, this is the biggest question to talk about tonight.
I was actually helping a friend sell his Karl-Anthony Towns cards about a year ago,
Okay.
and we had this discussion about how, like, oh, look, cat's not going to do much, and like, cat, like, whatever price you can get for your cat, this is probably a good time, while he's still playing,
Yeah.
is probably a good time. And now you're seeing that spike that he's recently gotten, now that he's got that chip. I think it's temporary. From like, I feel there's going to be a kind of a honeymoon phase for a lot of the New York Knicks players,
Yeah.
and they're going to have this honeymoon phase. They're going to be at their all-time highs because of the surge of stock that's getting into the market. That's also going to generate the drop. When there's not a lot of it, there's a demand for it, and then that drives price up. But when everyone suddenly lists all their stuff, there's plenty of supply to deal with that demand, and eventually there will be an oversupply.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I probably feel a bit different.
Mm, far away.
So this is my theory about these guys is that I think a lot of them are already undervalued. So I think Karl-Anthony Towns is chronically undervalued.
Yep.
OG definitely undervalued, but for all the reasons that a card would be undervalued. He's not a
Hmm.
lead guard. He's
Yep.
primarily a defensive player. He's not on a fantastic large market team. He came from the Raptors.
Yep.
And so, I mean, funnily, I think you could include Jalen Brunson in this conversation, Mikal
Hmm.
Bridges,
Yep.
absolutely in this conversation. And so they're not the typical guys that are getting a lot of hobby love. Like they're not a Ja Morant, they're not a Zion Williamson, they're not a Luka Doncic. And so
Hmm.
these guys do definitely fly under the radar. So I think that the spike that we're seeing here is absolutely related to the NBA finals and
Yep.
nothing else. But I probably think what's going to happen out of this. So see this nice little baseline that we've got
Yep.
here. Let's just for round numbers call that baseline $50.
Yep.
I probably expect this to settle. He's going to have a new baseline now of $100 to $150. I don't think he's going to stay up this
Hmm.
high. I think that's going
No.
to even out. But
Yep.
what I think is going to happen for this whole Knicks team is that they're
A
going to be
new a new
competitive.
base.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're going
a
to have a
new
new
base will be
baseline,
set.
but they're going to be competitive again next year too, man.
Yes.
There's nothing that this team is going to do in the offseason that's going to dramatically change the roster structure. Like they'll bring all of these guys back. They're all on pretty friendly contracts. They might lose
Well,
one or two names. They might even add to the roster. Like there's
yeah.
potential they can improve this roster. So I don't expect to see any sort of drop off from that. What you might actually see from all of these guys, I would say OG in particular, he's going to be volatile moving forward.
Hmm.
He's not
Mm.
going to be somebody that
Yeah. Look at that.
it's. I think this is all COVID, right? So you can
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
disregard that. Let's just sort of chop that
Look.
out of the graph. It's all
Yeah.
pretty low here. It's not
Yeah.
particularly volatile.
No. And then
I
boom.
definitely would be expecting to see him go up a bit. Yeah, I think that's sort of my gut feeling on this one here.
Yeah.
And I actually think it's really cool that these guys are actually getting a little bit hobby love because I like to see the OG of the world get a bit of hobby love. My
Yeah.
follow-up question to you with the Karl-Anthony Towns stuff is how long had your mate been holding on to this stuff for before he sold it last year?
Well, he was a cat guy. So when Cat
Yeah,
joined the league, so he'd been
yeah,
collecting Cat, for since the beginning, and then he was just
yeah,
kind of Yeah, eventually he just kind of goes, you know what? He's not doing much in Minnesota, and I think this was like around the time of the initial trade for him to
So
New York, where he actually
let's just
started playing
say
better. Yeah, he
let's just
started
say he
playing better
picked
at New
up a
York.
few at around 400, so that's in
Yep,
2017. Let's just
yep,
say he bought another couple more in 2019, so
yep,
170, 265.
yep,
I'm hoping he didn't buy too much in COVID. Maybe he
nope,
sold a little bit of it. Maybe he
yep,
picked up a couple more here at 250.
yep,
And then you said that he sold last year. Is that right? So he sold
yeah.
in 2025, which is around 240. So he actually
He's just
might not
happy
have
to.
he
No,
might not have
he's just happy to
sustained
break
that
even.
much damage. Yeah.
No, he just break even really.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of a break even for him. Like, like we, in all honesty, we didn't expect Cat and the Knicks to make the noise that they made. Like sweeping Atlanta, sweeping Philly, no Boston to contend with. Detroit was a spanking. We did not see a dominant run coming through it, anytime soon. So,
If his new baseline is 400, former number one overall pick, he's got Kentucky connections,
hmm.
he's now got an NBA title. I'm totally fine with that. Like I hope this doesn't
Yeah.
settle down back to 200. I don't think he deserves that.
Well, you just got to kind of go back and see any other one-time champions and see where that goes, So like I
Yeah.
guess what Giannis might be the next best example.
Clyde
Was
Drexler,
Clyde.
because
Hakeem
Giannis has got
Hakeem
the
got two.
MVPs.
Hakeem got two, but Hakeem
I
was
don't think
also an MVP and
you
he's a
can't
GOAT.
put Karl-Anthony Towns in
Yeah.
the same conversation as Giannis,
No.
man. That's sacrilegious. Come on. Yeah.
Well, we're just trying to find a new base for him, right? Like
Yeah.
we're trying to find a new. Oh, does he just kind of forge his own path? You
This
know?
might be a this might be a follow-up conversation, man.
Yeah, but Sassy Cat definitely did well this playoffs. Had my friend held on just a little bit longer, he probably would have been able to make a little extra cash.
Yeah. We got Adam Tyndall in the comments. How about them Knicks? Yeah, man. How about those Knicks? They deserve every little bit of the flowers that they're getting at the moment, man. I'm actually really happy for Knicks fans, except for those guys who are wrecking stuff and assaulting people. I'm not all about that at all.
I don't think I've been this excited rooting for a team, wanting them to win the chip as much as I had the Knicks. I think Knicks Fever really did catch me this year. I was watching, and me and my brother were like watching every step, every play, every minute, and it was a lot of fun watching them ascend and get the chip,
Yeah.
especially with like everyone already writing them off. Like like we had all admittedly said, like if OKC or Spurs win, one of them is going to take the chip.
Yeah.
But, like that was the initial thought. Like, but OKC wobbled in injured, Spurs came in ready and just snatched it from them.
Yeah. It's again, I find that really exciting about the NBA
Mm.
that these tiny sort of slithery windows can open up. Jason Tatum gets injured.
Yep.
Celtics they break up their core basically. The Thunder get knocked out, and now here you go. The Knicks are winning a championship. It's just yeah, I love that
It's
stuff.
just, yeah, you gotta love it, man. That's why we watch and we love it. I honestly, I'm still 2 years away from having a team that can break my heart for 50 years. I'm waiting for Vegas. That will be my team. I will support them 110% when they come on board.
Thank you to Neon Trading Cards for your ongoing support. Head over to neontradingcards.com where you'll find a huge array of breaks: soccer, NBA, MLB, F1, AFL, NRL, WWE, and Marvel. Find Neon Trading Cards on Whatnot. Neon is the exclusive home of the Lucky Card Co. Repack products, Australia's leading multi-sport repack company. Neon is also a Topps and Fanatics direct breaking partner. Now, a little bit of personal news for myself, but also for Neon. Neon have re-upped for a further 6 months. So guys, you have no idea how much this means to me for this partnership to be ongoing. So guys, thank you for your ongoing support. It's just absolutely fantastic. Releases from Topps, heaps is going on at the moment. WWE Cosmic, Platinum Baseball, Signature Class NFL, Baseball Series 2, Merlin EPL, Knockout UFC, Inception Baseball, Chrome Disney, Cactus Jack Basketball, and heaps more. Cases will be ripped via the website and the two Whatnot channels. And just a reminder, if you've forgotten, the main Whatnot channel is Neon Trading Cards. And Neon now have a second channel, Neon Trading Cards Plus, which is soccer, MLB, F1, AFL, NRL, WWE, UFC, and Marvel. Get in, get ripping, and don't miss out. Neon is where the action is.
Cool.
Alrighty, and we're back, and we're going to be talking about Karl-Anthony Towns. Let's talk about this kaboom. So sometimes we talk about silver PSA 10s too much. Let's talk about
Yep.
some amazing cards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For me, the moral of this story is that kabooms that are 10s are very valuable. And this one here is
Yes.
Pop 4 from 2015 Excalibur. People that were picking this card up for $300, $1,000, $1,100. Honestly, congratulations to you. This has just skyrocketed all the way up to 5,200. I
Wow.
know that's a timing sale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fully aware of that, but at the same time too, that's just a very, very clever purchase. That just sold 6 days ago. Sorry, a clever sale is what I should be saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is
Like,
something to be said about timing your sales and timing your purchases, and this is a very, very good example of that.
oh yeah, like playoffs is the time. Like if it's the time when most eyes are on the league. It's the time when, heroes are being born, and it's the time when people are most excited. Finals fever is a real thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think more people tune in and watch it too.
It is because like they're not diehards like you and I who just kind of like drink it in from day one. Like like I'm so addicted to basketball. I've recently started watching WNBA and I have subscribed to WNBA so that I can watch WNBA now. So that's how much of a degenerate and an addict I am for NBA and basketball product.
What's your 3-line summary of the WNBA?
Three lines. Look, it is very top heavy, so the strongest teams generally dominate. The talent level's getting way better. Like there's this girl, Olivia Miles at Minnesota, and she's a rookie, and she's just doing ridiculous things right now. Like she's gonna be a top five, like easily top 10 right now. And yeah, she's a rookie. Amazing, amazing talent coming through. Look, there's no dunks, but like the skill and the technique is there. Like the shooting, the shot making is definitely
Griner can
there.
dunk, can't she?
Yeah, sort of, like, but there's not like it's not like a Stephen Castle put back dunk.
No.
But I think like I watched WNBA for the competition as well as like the defensively, like there is a lot of like I was like the other day I was watching, was it Toronto make their massive comeback with Mabry drilling threes left, right, and center. And like they had no business getting back into that game. But I was as equally invested into this game and them winning it and also having my heart ripped out when the Mystics and Citron got the tip and she threw a fadeaway two and it drilled swish. And I felt that dagger in my heart. you know so I look I love it.
Were
I
you
love
also
it.
gambling on this game at the same time?
I was, but
Yeah.
I already had won by that point, so I was invested for Toronto. Like I was invested for Toronto, not for my own sake. I had already made my money.
Yeah. All right. Now, somehow we talked about the WNBA before we talked about Jalen Brunson. We need to fix this ASAP.
Yes, yes, sorry. In the true
No,
nature
don't say
of you
sorry. This
can't
is
comp this, we have segued.
exactly. This is how we roll, man. All right. So, just my own sort of little confession here. I got a bit panicky when
Mm,
the Knicks made it all the way to the finals and then Brunson played as well as he did. Have I ever spoken about Brunson on the show? Because a lot of the stuff I talk about is a little bit of a blur. I remember some of the stuff I talk about, but not
yeah,
everything. So I actually went on to AI because every transcript from the show I've uploaded to the internet. So it's all out there in the ether. And AI actually said I have spoken about Brunson multiple times. And
great,
there's three main things that I've spoken about with him is that when he played for Dallas, we called him like a low end prospect to buy behind Luca. Fantastic. Then when he got traded to the Knicks, we said, oh, he'll probably get a bit of a bump because he's in a bigger market now. And then when his prices started to go up higher, you should probably be a little bit careful. I'm not too sure how well this is going to go. So it's a very
yeah,
much like my SGA call,
hmm,
which was wrong.
yeah,
He's gone up significantly more. So he peaked recently at 2,150. He's currently trading at 1,605, but even
Yep.
if you chop out those higher sales, he is still up a lot. So
Ascending.
the last 3 months, he's up 369%.
Mm.
And I suppose this is the same question, isn't it? What's his new baseline going to be? Because the last 3 months, his baseline was like 350, 360.
Hmm.
What do you think he's going to settle back in at, mate?
I think the new normal for him will be somewhere around 1,000.
Yeah,
I'd think it'll just settle around somewhere like there. 1,600, 2,000. That is the honeymoon phase. People are hot. People are excited. He Eventually it will cool off, and people will be wondering, oh, can he double? Can he go for a two-peat? And go again for another finals run?
yeah.
And we're gonna have to wait until NBA opens up. To find that out, and also this time next year to find that out.
Yeah, I think the $1,000 club though is pretty exclusive. And so
Mm,
while I think he deserves it, my question is, will he stay in that $1,000 club? The reason why I think he might be able to
mm.
is because I think what he's done for New York is amazing. And there's not that many athletes who have ever been a sports story like this.
No.
The other thing why I think he's a man of the people is the discount that he took to enable the Knicks to build this amazing team around him. You can't let that narrative go. And people love sports narratives, they love stories in sports. And this, for me, is a crazy story. So essentially, what I'm trying to say here in a very long-winded way, I think all the New Yorkers going to adopt this kid like their own. I suspect that that sort of big money that's put into Knicks rookie cards, that money is now going to go into Brunson cards. I really hope that that is the case. And I
Mhm.
suppose the other thing that I've taken away from this NBA Finals too is that, am I over prospecting, and have I been missing the really obvious ones in my face the last couple of years? Like, while all this time I've been focusing on Ja Morant and Zion Williamson, should I actually have been focused on SGA, Jalen Brunson, and Wemby? Like, cut out all the other noise and just go,
Mhm.
who is the best 3 or 5 players in the NBA right now?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, LeBron James,
SGA,
SGA, Brunson.
Wemby.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all we talk about. We don't do these
Mhm.
deep dives into Zion's knee and his injuries and his weight and all this other stuff. Like, it's
And funny enough, Zion actually was probably a more durable version of himself this year. He did shave off the weight. He was on the court more.
but when I
Yeah.
mean, John O'Michael said the same thing, right? But we're still
Mhm.
prospecting, man. Like, we're still
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah, we're still looking for the next great hope.
Yeah,
We're already like, but you know what? The hobbyists and collectors, they love looking ahead.
yeah,
We are, as a hobby, I think in general, card collectors, we have very short attention spans. And especially like, the ones who are prospecting for the next great lottery ticket.
about 2 weeks
It's
attention span, I reckon.
Yep. And then we'll start thinking about the next year. We'll start looking at the really loaded drafts, that's gonna come out next year.
Yeah,
And forget about the great draft that we had this year. This year's rookie class really did show out and really did play really well. I think like was it one of them that definitely comes to mind straight away is Harper. He really came out and he really showed maturity and poise and aggressiveness in a rookie that we had never seen in
yeah,
a while. He was like what that last game, he was like the number two scorer right behind Wemby.
yeah.
And yeah, like Stephen Castle was nowhere to be seen, but Stephen Castle was great throughout the whole playoffs. So I'm not gonna dump on him, but he had that last game, he didn't really show up. Harper did.
I think Harper's game is so smooth,
Mm,
and he's a rookie. And I think his game is built on strength and positioning and skill. And I think all of those things are just going to get better.
yeah,
Like, I can't wait to see him when he grows into his body a bit more and he can bully people around the basket. Like, he's already doing it now as a
yeah,
rookie. So what is he going to be able to do in, say, 2 more years? And again, like, his timing is going to be better in 2 more years. I think, and
yeah.
again, his game is built on that, but it's still going to get better. So I think that's the part where I'm going crazy for Harper at the moment. I think
Hmm.
if you're a Spurs fan and you like Dylan Harper, like, you have to be happy right now. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot to be excited about in that space. Yeah.
They've nailed it. Like they nailed it with Harper. They nailed
Yeah.
it with Stephen Castle.
Yeah.
You know, Wemby was a no-brainer, obviously. But
Yeah,
like
definitely.
picking the picks they did, they traded up to get Dylan Harper
Yeah.
and absolutely walked away this year with probably the steal of the draft.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know, like yes, yes, Cooper Flag is a talent, but Dylan, I don't think you put him in the bright lights of the playoffs. Cooper and Con, would have been. Look, we saw they went there. They didn't make it.
I think Edgecombe is very good.
Yep.
Knuppel is a generational shooter.
Yes.
The rest of
And we
it,
had
we'll
that.
see.
And we had that talk last time about Knappel. Like his prices are fetching some insane numbers. But what is his peak? What is he? What is he going to end up being? Can he end up
Well,
being a Clay Thompson? Can he end up
actually, I
being
mean,
a?
without going too far, like down the rabbit hole on this, his prices have gone down a lot.
We
So
warned about that too.
if you are excited about Knuppel, go and check his prices and maybe get on some bids because he's down like 60% or something ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah, and that was to be expected. We talked about it last time where we're like these prices are Stephen Curry prices for Knappel.
yeah,
And like yes, he's
that's
broken
crazy.
some records, but like where's he gonna end up? Is he gonna end up like Clay Thompson? Where and then you look at Clay Thompson's prices, right? Like phenomenal shooter, generational talent, generational shooter, one of the best to ever lace him up. And you can see his prices sit where they are. I kind of have a feeling that Con's prices will land around there too.
Yeah. So you think Harper's the second best player in this draft?
I think so. Right behind
Yeah,
like oh no, like he's definitely up there. Like the argument can be had between all three of them. Like we just didn't get to see Flag and Con in the finals.
yeah.
Like make it all the
What
way.
a what a
So
great
he's
draft this
definitely
is.
it
Flag,
is
Harper,
really
Edgecombe, Knuppel, Ace Bailey. Like that's
I'm
fantastic,
I'm
isn't it?
telling you, man, this is
Yeah,
this is a really good draft. We're gonna look
yeah.
back on this draft and go like, there's some really great talents.
That'd be sick.
Edgecombe
Yeah,
was a great talent.
yeah,
Coward played well. There's that Sacramento kid, like out in Sacramento, the center, who's basically a new coming of Demontis,
yeah,
the French kid. There's some really good young talent coming through.
yeah. So Topps Chrome Dylan Harper PSA 10 last sold for $1,400. I think this is actually terrible. I think this is horribly, horribly overpriced. Look, people out there who are buying this, I'm not throwing shade at you. I'm just saying you could buy that, or you could purchase two Jason Tatum silver PSA 10s for basically the same price. And so, what else do you really need to say at that point?
I mean, the comparison pricing, right? Like, and that's how I kind of judge I kind of judge when I make my purchases.
You have
So
to make
like,
comparison pricing, man. Otherwise, like, why do you buy a LeBron James instead of a Jordan then? Or,
well,
you know,
yeah, that's the thing, and that's like the reason why. Like, was it a lot of the time I have to justify my Shaq purchases. So when you line up a
yeah,
$10,000 Shaq in front of me,
yeah,
I have to then kind of go like, wait, what can I get for $10,000? And obviously the answer is
100%.
yes.
Yeah,
Like an MJ UNC autograph is less than 10.
yeah,
So it's just like, do you want a Michael Jordan autograph or do you want this $10,000 insert of Shaq? And like, yes, I am the Shaq guy. I know I should be saying Shaq every time, but like the MJ UNC autograph is going to go up. That's constantly going up in value.
yeah.
And he's much older, and people are starting to wake up to, certain cards of MJ's, and there's just this absolute. His pricing is just absurd, MJ. So,
Thank you to US Sports Cards Australia for your ongoing love and support. Big update from US Sports Cards Australia and Comcar. US Sports Cards Australia is currently transitioning to their new platform, ComCA. During this move, they have temporarily paused new submissions on the US Sports Cards Australia website while they merge products to the new system with numbers well over 50,000. And from me to you, Ross, congratulations on 50K, mate. I know how much work you've put into this. If you are keen to start listing your cards on Comcar, reach out to the team via Instagram, and that is comca.tradingcards, on Instagram. It's got a white background and blue logo lettering. Make sure to mention you're a You Can't Comp This listener. ComCA are continuing to look after the community. Special offer. Your first 100 cards will be scanned and uploaded for free as a You Can't Comp This listener. Continue to check in with comca.com.au, and thank you so much to Team US Sports Cards Australia and Comca. All right, we're done with Dylan Harper. Do we need to
We're done.
finish off Jalen Brunson? Because I feel like we
Yeah,
segued pretty hard on that
yeah.
one.
I think. Look, Jalen deserves all the flowers, and like you
Yeah,
said,
definitely. We should give this guy a bit more praise. Yeah.
he sacrificed for the greater of the team, and his sacrifice is the reason why they managed to flank him with such good talent, like OG, like Mikal Bridges, like Josh Hart. Like not often do players take pay cuts, man. Like especially the pay cut he took. I think it was worth 100 million. Was the pay cut he took in the end? And dude, that's huge. And like they like when the comparison is like like LeBron. Why doesn't he take a pay cut so that his team
Yep.
could be better? And just some players are built different. I'm gonna say leave it at that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when I hear stories like that, I'm just really glad that he then did get to win the championship, because can you
Yeah.
imagine taking that massive pay cut and then not winning a championship? I think that will be very difficult to manage, but here we are. We have to talk about this. This is the one of one
Mm.
nebula. I think everyone at this point has seen all the screenshots floating around from a blowout forum from back in the day
Yep.
when the owner of this card was trying to get $300 for it.
Hmm.
I've read a couple of different stories on this, that he didn't actually sell it for $300 and he now sold it for $96,000, which is what it just sold at auction
Okay.
just in the last couple of weeks. I've also read stories where he did sell it for $300 and now the next person sold it on for 96K. So
Hmm.
do you know the truth of that story, or do we just want to let it
I think.
become a
Look,
myth?
I think it's just a myth at this stage, man. It's kind of like trying to track the lineage of some of these cards is pretty tough. I don't. Not many people want to admit that they let the bag get away,
Yeah,
and not many people want to admit that they made mistakes, and we all do, man. It's the hobby. Like
that's a tough one. Yeah,
look, all of us have dirt. Like all of us have bag drops that we've sold too early on players, or didn't buy in when we had opportunity, or there's just so much of it.
yeah.
So no, congratulations to the guy who did, though. That is a huge buy, and
That's a
who would have thought?
perfectly timed sale too.
Who would have thought 90 from 300 to 96,000?
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we might as well talk about this one too. So this one sold in December of 24, and that sold for 79,000. So for basically 2 years, that was the highest Jalen
Yep.
Brunson card in existence. That's his
Rightfully
one
so.
of one national treasures, Logan. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, what would that be worth now? Probably double at this point.
We'll definitely have to put it into the doubles range, maybe
Yeah,
even the quarter million range.
yeah, right.
Those New York Knicks fans, man, they got deep pockets. They can afford courtside seats at was it
Yeah,
100K plus?
you're probably right, man. Because the other thing too is like Logan is sort of going through a trend at the moment for
Hmm.
being collectible and being collected by high end,
Yep,
huge collectors, maybe even
connoisseurs.
investment groups. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like yeah, like look, the guy who can afford a courtside seat can also be the very much the guy who's not going to sneeze at a $200,000 card.
Yeah. All right, we're getting into the prospecting part of the night, but that's totally cool. This is like my jam, Mikal Bridges.
Mm.
I like this kid. I've liked him for a long time. And I think this one for me is a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow, because I would have hoped that his prices would have been higher than $73 during the spike. I would hope that his price would be $73 as a baseline, but
Yep.
he's currently trading at $73. So I think if you're holding Bridges, you should probably be looking at deciding to sell him, because this might be his peak.
He He didn't do any favors for himself in the last three games, though. He had a great earlier series. He was playing very well in the early going for the playoffs. I don't know what happened. Either somebody flicked off a switch or something changed in his daily mantra. He just didn't show up, until probably that last game where he started scoring a little bit. But like,
Yeah. Look,
You know, they needed him to score. They really needed him to score. He just wasn't getting it done. Like I can excuse Josh Hart. I know Josh Hart's play. He's a hard nosed, bucket pail New York Knicks kind of guy. Goes out and grabs boards and gets assists. He doesn't actually. It's not his job to score, Josh Hart. But McCall's is actually.
I I just feel like when he was on the
Mm,
court, they just played better. Even if he wasn't
mm,
shooting well, all the other stuff
mm.
that he does, like the
Yeah,
passing, the rebounding, even he was screening a little bit in that series too,
yeah,
which I thought was
yeah. He was.
pretty interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It just. I don't know. I just like it. Just the stats didn't match the effort. You know what I mean?
yeah. All
Like
right.
the previous series, he was just like lights out.
Yeah, and he can.
You can.
He can shoot. Yeah. All right, let's talk about this big boy. We've gone from kicking around scrubs in the dollar bins to all the way to the tippy top here. So next up we're going to talk about Wembanyama, Victor, 2023 rookie. He was population on this silver PSA 10 is 5,138. Let's call his baseline $1,500 in January of
Yep.
26. He spiked all the way up to $4,090. Look, I saw a few shorts from the guys from Sports Cards Nonsense talking about this, saying that sell into the hype. He bought it at 2,000 and sold it for 3.5, and he was happy to take his $1,500 profit.
Yep.
I then saw another follow-up video of him saying, like, I told you dummies to sell because now it's down to $2,750. The last sale was 2,600. Look, I'm really, really, really torn on this guy as a prospect because I just don't know where this card's going to end up at. Is it going to end up as a $200 card? Is this going to be a $10,000 card? Like, that's where my head's at with this guy. So I'd love to hear your insights on this, man.
I was actually having a long debate with a friend of mine about Wemby the other day,
Yeah,
and
right.
the conclusion of that debate was I was actually before this playoffs, I was kind of in the boat of like, yeah, look, sell high, this is hyped. He's overhyped. It's time to sell him. But as I kept watching the series and as I kept watching his growth and maturity in the playoffs, as a player, not as
Yeah.
a person, just as a player, like
So you
like because
Are
because
you
as a
referring to
person,
him walking off the court, not shaking people's hands? Is that what you're talking
as
about?
a person, he's shown he's being a bit of a douche, but like as like like I didn't love that elbow to Nas Reed's face either.
I didn't
um you
mind
know
that.
you
People
know
go out there and try and hurt him on a nightly basis. So actually, I don't have a
yeah.
problem with that.
Yeah, but he just I don't know, he didn't ingratiate himself. He kind of turned into Wemben Villain. Like he
Yeah,
just kind of
100%.
became more of a villain in
Yeah.
this series as it progressed. And
Because the
you
problem
know,
with not shaking people's hands is that goes down in the history of like all
yes.
bad guys. Because Isaiah
Yeah.
Thomas not
Yep.
shaking hands with Jordan when they lost, that people haven't forgotten that.
No, no, they
And
don't
that was
forget,
pre
man.
social media. So what are people
Yeah.
going to say about Wemby in the Instagram era?
I think look, he's young. He is really a kid, man. Like
Yeah.
he's young. Like him telling his two teammates to put a hit on Jared McCain, like and he's young. He's gotten
He's
thrown the keys.
22.
Yeah, he's gotten
Yeah,
thrown the keys to the kingdom at
yeah,
22.
you're right.
And just like Cooper Flag, they've both been kind of thrown into the driver's seat in a position where most people don't get thrown into this driver's seat, maybe for another 3 more years
Yeah,
so they're babies in the NBA and they've already been given the keys to the castle. So in terms of him as a player, the sky's the limit. We already seen in what year two he's already defensive player of the year, and he was a contender for the MVP. So like, let's see what happens. And for me, this price is probably still going to keep up. There's still room to
okay,
move up.
yeah,
Because him as a player, we've only seen Defensive Player of the Year Wembanyama. We haven't seen MVP Wembanyama, and then
yeah,
we also haven't seen NBA Finals champion Wembanyama.
good call,
So,
man.
so these are kind of two Wembanyamas we kind of need to see first before we can call it quits on his values.
Yeah,
And he's already at this value, and this spiked while he was playing against OKC when everyone was like, holy smokes, this guy just blocked the living snot out of everybody.
yeah,
Like that 12 block series, to open up a series, that's like
Yeah.
We haven't seen that, man. We
He's
haven't seen that
freakish.
happen.
Yeah.
Drop 30 points on you, shoot threes, block shots. Like he is a factor. Like every time a player dribbled in, there is no stat for that where they go like, oh, forget it. Like there's this 7'5" monster standing in the paint. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just like just drive on by. There's no stat to say he deviated that player, but he deviated thousands of players and
Yeah.
deterred them from making attacks on the paint.
That
So
is a massive problem with the NBA, the way the stats are reported. How do you track
mhm.
a good defender? I'm gonna die on
Mm,
that hill forever. Yeah.
So like he's
Yeah.
he's not done yet. I feel he's not done yet. This is probably how we always talk about how like players need to get their battle scars before they can earn their chip.
Yeah.
So this is Wemby's battle scar,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's
And I'm
gonna wear
totally fine with
this.
that
Yeah,
analogy
he's
too.
gonna wear
Yeah.
this. He's gonna wear this. He's gonna wear that no handshake shame. He's gonna like wear this. Wemby disappeared.
Yeah.
Into the finals. Like Wemby's a choker. In the last couple of minutes, he just can't handle the ball. He's gonna remember all of this. He's
Did he
taking
choke?
notes.
I don't
He
think he
look.
choked, man.
Oh man, he threw a ball off the back of Stephen Castle's back. So
That was bad. That
that
was
that was bad. He missed a couple of he missed free throws towards key moments in a lot of games.
but in that
Um,
instance, is that Wemby's fault or is that Castle's fault for not watching the ball?
we can argue this to the end of time, but like he's controlling the ball. That pass came off his hands, man.
I was thinking about that too. I wonder if Castle's like, Wemby's the man. He's going to
he's
dribble
gonna
the
take
ball
it.
down and take the final shot, and that's what
Yep.
happens in the NBA.
Because there was no eye contact between them when he made the
No,
pass. There was just Stefan
nothing.
Castle looked. He glanced over, and then he started running forward, full getting out of the way. He's like,
Yeah,
he
definitely.
looked over and saw Wemby coming, and he's like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
get the fuck out of the way, and he just
yeah.
like ran towards the base, towards the sideline to get out of the way, so Wemby had space to cut back in,
The
and
Doug
that's what I
Collins,
think.
Michael Jordan
Yeah,
call.
yep. So like, yeah, he missed vital free throws. Like the ball was in his hands to close some games. He just didn't make them. So he's gonna wear these. He's gonna remember these. He's gonna take notes.
I
So
mean, this is the
I'm
perfect segue. That's what Fox was brought in for, to do the clutch shooting at the end.
yeah, but Fox turned into worse than a pumpkin towards the end of that.
I mean, look,
I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry. I
think
know.
I think you should probably lead this next part because I'm genuinely disappointed. Like for me, I
Mm,
actually had a realization this playoff series in that I've never felt emotionally attached to a team before, but
yeah.
I now realize that I'm one of those fans that doesn't have a team and follows players around. Like I'm at this point in time, I'm emotionally attached to De'Aaron Fox, and when
Yep.
all that crap he copped afterwards in the Instagram posts and the social
Yep.
media posts, like the joke that's going around saying that he should be traded to the Nets and the
Yeah.
Spurs have to include draft picks to compensate the Nets. Like that stuff
Yeah.
kind of stung me. And I'm like, it's just,
And,
I don't think it's deserved. So
and
clearly
the New York
I
and the New York Knicks fans making Fox jerseys. Like, I mean, that's next level, man. That's next level trollage.
so I don't think I'm emotionally able to comment on this. It's too sort of raw for me. I think you should do the analysis on De'Aaron Fox
Uh,
at the moment. Currently trading at
Fox,
$92, population 600.
Fox, man, look, he had his moment. I felt he had a moment in time when he was, at Sacramento and leading the charge with the beam, and I felt that was, when that was the most winningest Sacramento, and I was excited for
Yeah.
Fox and Sacramento at that time. But after they broke it up, I just haven't seen the same old Fox, ever since. He's slowly I like to see I like to give NBA players grace. He was pretty hurt a lot of this
He was banged
playoffs.
up and he was coming off an injury. I think that definitely
Yeah.
is part of it, but I don't
Yeah.
think that's 100% for his play over the series.
No, and he just made some really, really bonehead plays. He'll probably join J.R. Smith in the Shaq and the Fool annals for silliest plays in the finals.
Yeah. But do you
And
think that he'll be the scapegoat and they'll trade him?
I don't think Sacramento are like that. Honestly, I've
No,
also
the
not Sacramento,
Spurs.
sorry, Spurs. I just
Yeah.
don't think the Spurs are like that as a unit, as a team. I don't feel that they're like that in terms of
Yeah.
management. You know, like I've never really felt that from them before in the past, and I've never felt that from them now. Like, you know, like they're gonna throw somebody under the bus and blame them for it. You
Because I
know,
think
like,
if they trade Fox, his prices are $60 now. It'll be 25 or $30.
oh
Like that
yeah,
will be the death knock on his value.
yeah, for sure. You know, if on the bright side, as I was telling you, it's a good time to buy. It probably wouldn't be it wouldn't be any lower than it is now, right?
Look, I bought one
You know,
today, but I don't know how good I feel about it. Do you know what I mean? Like
you're like, oh, I
this
could probably get
actually
it
could
cheaper.
get worse. It could
I
get
could probably
worse.
get
So
it.
that's the thing.
I mean, look, you can ask the Ben Simmons collectors
That's right.
about
It
about
can
their
get
thoughts
worse. Yeah.
about their thoughts on this, because like I had a friend who was a hardcore Ben Simmons collector, and he died on that hill. I think rest
Oh
in peace,
God.
buddy.
Man, you might have
um,
to hook me up with this guy so I can, get a grip on my life at this point.
but look, for me, like I mean, there's a reason why I don't prospect. There's a reason why I haven't bought any of the new rookies. There's a reason why I haven't opened any new product. I'm very retro. I buy a lot of my retro cards. I've been chasing a lot of the harder to get old school cards, which is why my buying habits have really dried up. I've really tightened up the purse in order to save up big to buy the bigger pieces.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense, man. Alrighty. Stefan Castle. Let's talk about this kid.
I love this kid.
All
I
right.
love
I
this guy.
I don't love this kid, so tell me why you love him, and then
He's
I'll tell you why I don't love him.
Look, second year guy, look, he's a little turnover prone, but he does get the highlight reels. He does play hard. He is aggressive. I think he just look with maturity, he will tighten, he will clean up, and he will stop making those bad turnovers,
Yeah.
which hurt the team ultimately. But he's a shot maker. He has no problems making shots, taking them. He has no problems attacking the rim. You know, athletically, he is quite gifted. You know, I think they've got a really good 1-2 punch with him and Dylan Harper at the
Yeah.
reins.
All right. My take on this guy is that he is a forward in a guard's body. I don't think he has
Mm.
point guard skills. So that to
Which
me
explains
would
the turnovers.
would imply that he should be playing the shooting guard, but I don't think he's
Yep.
got the shooting technique to be a two guard. So I think if he was a bit bigger, he would be the perfect small forward
Mm.
and he would have a very good NBA career. My issue with him is that I think he's a very poor man's Russell Westbrook. Because if you remember Westbrook when he came into the league,
Yep.
he actually didn't play point guard in college. And so he was basically thrown into this situation with Sam Presti, and Presti believed in him and all the rest of it. And he had the
Hmm.
chance and the repetitions at an NBA level to be like a lead guard. And the rest is history, right? So I think
Yep.
that's the high end of what Castle's career could be going into, or it could be the other way. He doesn't get the repetitions. He doesn't pick up the nuances of being a point guard. And, I probably think that's where it's going to go to. But at
Yep.
the same time, my bias also could be because I want to subconsciously see this guy do badly so that De'Aaron Fox gets more playing time. So do you know what I mean? All that stuff is like going through my head. I just don't think
Yeah.
he's that great of a point guard. I actually think when they play three guards at the same time and he plays the third ball
Hmm.
handler, actually
Yep.
that's amazing and that's very difficult to defend. And if that's the
Hmm.
case and they can somehow work out the defensive matchups, actually that might be very effective. So, I don't think it doesn't mean that these three guards can't play together, but I personally think one of these three guards is going to be traded.
Yeah.
I kind of hope it's Castle, but who knows what's going to happen.
I think, look, Castle's still young, and that's the problem with that. So if anyone's going to
Yeah.
get traded, it would be Fox. But the problem is that if it's Fox, then you're trading him at lowest value. You're not getting a great return on your investment for him.
And you would have to match salary too, which is going like 50,
Yep.
55, $60 million the next few years. So it's going to be a
Yep.
really interesting thing for them to work out. Castle's
Yeah.
prices are $720. Population is 522 on a silver PSA 10. The
Yep.
spike is there that you would see through the finals.
Hmm.
Again, I'm going to take this
Expected.
back to Jason Tatum. I can have a Tatum at $800, or I can have this at 720. I don't think this is a conversation. I think this is overpriced. I think this is all speculation at this point in time and nothing else. Yeah.
Well, you're hoping for, what was it? He's essentially meant to be the Robin of the team, you know. So like, Wemby's always going to be Batman. You know, the Batman theory, where like, yeah, Wemby is Batman.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going to either be Robin or potentially Alfred at this
This
stage
this
because
kid is not Scottie Pippen though, and
no,
he's not Jalen
and
Brown even.
and I'm more excited about Dylan Harper than out of
Yeah,
the two of them. If you had to, if gun to my head, I would take Dylan
100%.
Harper.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, look, to answer your question about pricing, yeah, definitely take the proven Jason Tatum over the Stephen Castle. But once again, man, that's what this hobby is. We were recently lamenting about our missed opportunities, you know, and wondering where we could have gone wrong or gone right. We were there. We were there for SGA at Clippers. We were there for Jalen Brunson at Dallas,
yeah,
and we didn't buy.
yeah, definitely. All right, Devin Vassell, let's do this in 20 seconds. You mentioned him before the show. He's not on card ladder for his silver PSA 10, so we're just going to talk about Raws. They're $4 a piece. I think personally for me, this is more of a PC only purchase. He's a good player. He's a good rotation player. I liked him better before Harper and Castle was there because I thought
Yep,
maybe his
he'd
role would be a
become.
little bit bigger and he would be the
Yeah,
second or third banana, but that has not played out. He's probably sixth or seventh at this point.
I mean, look, after the showing of Champagne and everybody else in the
I
team,
agree.
yeah, he moves down
Yeah.
the packing order now.
Keldon
He was
Johnson
around.
is,
I think was he? Yeah, he was around the era of Dejounte Murray, right? Dejounte Murray, him, and Keldon Johnson.
I think DeJounte Murray's a couple of years older than
Yeah,
him, though. Yeah.
yeah. But like they were kind of that was the original Spurs core before
Yeah.
the Wembys, before the Harpers, before the Stephen Castle. You know, so yeah. Look, Vassell's an interesting piece, man. Like he's just kind of hangs around, gets his 8 to 10 points. You know, catch and shoot, and catch and shoot. He can warm up. He can have hot games too, but he's not consistent.
Not at all.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So if you're a Spurs guy, he's just a collection piece, along with Champagne.
All right. We've done the Spurs. We've done the Knicks. Have we done them justice? Is there anyone that we missed that we need to talk about?
Uh Mitchell Robinson? No. Look, Mitch had a great game. He did really really good. My buddy Josh is a big Mitchell Robinson fan. Flew all the way to New York to watch him play, and I'm very happy for him. That
Shout
he
out to
was
Josh, man. That's sick.
just yeah, he was there for the 29 point recovery job, and yeah, he got to see his boy Mitchell Robinson shine.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, I'm very happy for him.
I got to tell you, Mitch Robinson sales are going off at the moment. Optic Gold Vinyl 1 of 1 sold for 3,989. By the way, the people who are selling at the moment,
Yeah,
I tip my cap to you. Flawless Platinum 1 of 1 sold for 2,500. Another Flawless Premium Edition Diamond 1 of 1. Who's selling all these cards? Who's holding
it's
all this
probably
stuff?
Josh. It's probably Josh. It's probably my friend. He's
That's
like
how he paid for
he's
his ticket to go over there.
so he paid for the ticket to make it
Yeah.
into Madison Square Garden. Yeah, look, now's the time.
NT True
These
RPA to 99 for $319. That's pretty reasonable.
yikes. Yeah, look, these prices you probably would have been able to sell them for less than $50 before. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's you just got to capitalize while you got the chance. Certain players will survive this honeymoon stage. Certain players will benefit from the honeymoon and have a new base. But there are just some players like the numbers 5, 6, and 7 on the roster. Now's the time, you know. While they are heroes, they get to be heroes for a week, and then we will forget about them.
So he was a Knicks rookie too. So he's been there
Yep,
through the good and the
he's been
bad.
there since the beginning.
Yeah,
He's been
that's
there since
awesome.
the beginning of the rebuild. So,
Good on him,
you know,
man. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of those good stories. I think like was it? There's a lot of good stories out of that New York Knicks team. Honestly,
Ah, we
like
didn't talk about Jose.
Jose Alvarado, the guy who like almost ended up out of the league completely. You know, came over from the G League, got his little shtick, Grand Theft Alvarado. I
You
love
need to
that's probably one of
explain
the
that
best
for the listeners at home that don't know about this. Talk to us about
Grand
that.
Theft Alvarado. So he
Yeah.
used to hide in the corner of the so when teams are inbounding, he will hide in the corners and wait for the inbounding team to dribble up, and then he will sneak up from behind and steal the ball. So it was hilarious. I remember, I think I told you guys about him when he was like at New Orleans doing this nonsense,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I was just like, oh, like this is hilarious because New Orleans used to play the Jaws music every time he's sneaking up, and just mess with opposition teams
Doesn't
because he
that
just
give it away
hides.
though that he's sneaking up?
That he's yeah, but you just don't know when he's gonna strike, right? Because you just got this dun and dun, and it's just building up, and like opposition players are like, "What's happening?" But also like most stadiums are too loud for it, so they probably don't even hear the music. They're too hyper focused. But yeah, he used to just sneak up and steal the ball, and that was his whole thing. Grand Theft Alvarado.
All
I
right, talk to us about non-Spurs, non-Knicks players. You want to talk about Edgecombe, and the other one you want to talk about was Cedric Coward. So let's talk about these two.
look,
Give us your take on Edgecombe. Let's go.
Edgecombe started this season like a bat out of hell. He really did look like the initial steal of the draft coming
Yeah,
out. Just played balls to the wall, big numbers coming straight out at the beginning, and then eventually he just cooled off, and he kind of just settled in into his role, figured out his place amongst Maxi, amongst Embiid and Paul George, and just figured out his spot. And then yeah, he kind of caught on at the beginning of the playoffs again, had a couple of big games to start off the playoffs, and he's a bowler, man.
yeah.
He's
Highly
definitely got
skilled.
skills.
He's big. Yeah. And I think that was the bigger part for me with Philadelphia at the start of the year. They had a lot of injuries. Like Paul George was out. I'm pretty sure
Yep,
Maxi missed the start of the season.
yep,
And that explains a lot in terms of shot opportunities. Embiid's missing every other game. You know what he's like. So,
yep, yep. Broke. He's like glass.
I mean, my question about this kid is what's his ceiling?
Look, we've
Because,
kind of seen flashes of what he can potentially be. The question is, the $1 million question is, can he be consistent? Can he consistently put up 15, 20 points a game, you
yeah,
know, at a consistent clip? Can he be the number two banana right beside Maxi?
I think all the hype that we see around the league and the amount of talent that this kid's got at $450 for a refractor PSA 10, excuse me, I actually think that's very, very reasonable.
For
Like
who he is, not bad.
Dylan Harper's $1,000 more than this kid. That's not
Yeah.
right.
Opportunity is going to come for him. Paul George is not going to be in the league much longer. I
I
don't
think the
see much.
ceiling is higher on Edgecombe than Harper.
Yeah, you can have it both ways. I think. Look, they're both very good prospects. If you kind of like, if it was a coin flip, for the value, like at 450 versus 1,000, I can kind of go like, look, there's probably still more value to be had with VJ. Than there is Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper feels like he
Definitely.
might be, nearing his, potential peak because like he's only a rookie. He's already getting the rookie price premium.
But more than that with Edgecombe, I think he could be
Mm.
a genuine number one option. I don't think Harper would ever be a true number one. I think Harper is a very good basketball player and knows how to facilitate and picks his spots. But that's different to being a lead guard that has to generate 25,
Everything.
28, 30 points per game and facilitate for other people too.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
VJ
mean?
VJ Edgecombe can definitely do that.
Yeah, I think he has got that really high ceiling potential.
He's
And
also got
so,
that FU motor as well.
yeah, man, he gets
Yeah,
after people.
yeah, man. He does have that dog in him that he wants to go after people. So,
Yeah.
I'm yeah, I would definitely consider VJ Edgecombe.
All right. Out of 10, what would you give this as a purchase at 450?
Look, 450 for a silver at this stage with a lot of the rookies, I'd probably put it at a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I'm really wary of buying into the hype at the moment. And I feel like this finals has really hammered that home.
Yep.
Like, we should have been talking about Jalen Brunson for the last 2 years. We should have been talking about SGA. And so
Hmm.
I'm very, very reluctant to let that go and sort of just dive straight back into more prospecting. So for me, this is watch this for 12 more months and then reassess the price and then reassess his output because
Yeah,
is there a
because
rush to go out and buy prospects? Are you actually better off in just biding your time and seeing where all the dust settles?
I think right now, look, all the attention's on the New York Knicks and the Spurs.
Cooper Flag
Um, Cooper Flag, Look, Concanopoulos cooling. So a lot of
is
these rookies will cool.
cooled. He has
Yeah,
cooled. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Look, a good time to buy is actually around the time, like if you want to start like guessing and seeing, wait till the next draft because when the new
Yeah,
toys are out, these old toys like VJ Edgecombe and Dylan
100%.
Harper will be forgotten. Everybody will be chasing the Bandstar, everyone will be chasing,
Yep.
Darren Peterson, and they'll be also after Cameron Boozer,
The
you know.
boozers. Yep.
Yep. Caleb
Yep.
Wilson and and Wagner, Keaton Wagner.
Yep.
So there's an Acuff. Oh, I do like Acuff. So there's some good rookies coming up. This is a pretty probably one of the most talked up rookie classes coming up for next year.
Yep. All right. Our last athlete of the night is Cedric Coward, not Colin Coward, as we were talking about off the air. He
Not
is
Colin
not,
Cowherd.
no, he is not on Card Ladder. So I've just gone to eBay Solds and just pulled up. I'll just read off a couple and then we'll go from
Yep.
there. Geometric Refractor, which looks like a mosaic, number to 50, sold for 170. These are all USD prices. Chrome SSP, number to 50, the Chromograph, on card autograph for 170. The Blue Refractor to 150 for 255. The Mojo autograph, which looks delicious on the first Bowman, to 173. Tops 3 basketball rookie relics to 49 for 128. This is the one I wanted to talk to you about. Signature Series Cedric Coward rookie jumbo auto encased. I believe that's a Panini card
Yeah, it looks like it.
because I'm pretty sure he signs for Panini and also for Tops.
Yep. Yeah, he does. It's a nice looking card. He's got a nice looking autograph.
Yeah, it's Panini. It definitely is Panini.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. So he actually
Mm.
he's a dual signer.
Mm. Oh, look, I liked watching him play this year. He is more of a defensive player, and this is kind of what we were talking about with OG's ceiling as well, was that
Yeah.
defensive players don't tickle people's fancy in the hobby, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Look, he's a good player. I mean, look, Memphis doesn't have a lot to be excited about these days until they figure out what happens to
John
Morant.
Morant. Yeah.
Yeah, like where does he land next season will be interesting. I think a lot of John Morant holders are kind of waiting to see where he lands, to before they make their judgments, and they're probably hoping for a new land, a big market landing pad for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, look, Coward just played really well this year. Just a good, once again, just another good player out of the rookie class. Him, and I finally remember the name of the French kid, Maxime Reynaud, out of Sacramento. That kid put up good numbers this year, and just like Coward, played his role. Opportunity allowed for it,
Yeah, definitely.
because the team
That's
is
the big
just
part in
so.
Sacramento this year. That team was very wide open. There was
Oh,
opportunity galore over that whole roster.
absolutely hammered, man. Absolutely
Yeah.
hammered. Like, and the coaching and the management were doing weird things. Like, are we tanking? Are we not tanking? Are we like we
They
could
were
win this
tanking.
game?
They were
They,
tanking.
they were
They were
like,
horrible. They were absolutely horrible this year. Yeah.
I'll share an anecdote
Yeah.
from my bad bets this year. So there was games where I had Sacramento players, and I was like, yes, they're gonna cash my slip. And then the coach just sat everybody for the
Yeah.
second half.
Yeah.
And it just like I was just like, DeRozan had a chance at this, and and Westbrook had a chance at it. And
Yeah.
like they literally played them for like, a couple of games straight, and like, tried to win for like about a month or two. And then they're like, oh, you know what? Forget it. And then just like started just sitting starters at any time,
So
even in games where they thought they could win.
the hiring of Doug Christie is kind of a shocking one on so many different levels. I'm not aware that he's ever coached at any level, and
Mm,
he's been a commentator for the last 5 or 10 years for the Kings.
yeah.
So he comes in and takes that job, then essentially they've forced his hand to tank.
Yep.
So he could be fired this year or next year and
As a
never,
scapegoat.
yeah, that's right, and never get
Yep.
back into the league. And you look at how many coaches that the Sacramento Kings have fired. They've hired and fired Mike Malone. They've hired and fired Mike Brown.
Yep. Yeah, Mike Brown.
Why would they care if they fire Christie now?
Oh, there is zero loyalty in
Uh,
Sacramento.
anyway, I don't want to talk. I actually don't want to talk about the Kings. Let's talk about Cedric Coward. So
Yep.
I've actually seen him play in person, and I would say
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite moments. Okay, I need to rephrase this very carefully.
Mhm.
It's in my top 20 of my favorite moments of seeing NBA players. He is
Mm,
fantastic to watch in person. He
mm,
has an absolute presence out there on the court defensively. He has all the things that I love about a basketball player. He's
yep,
efficient, he's smart, he helps on defense, he's big, he can rebound, he communicates all that stuff.
yep.
But after all that gushing that I've just done, I can't go past what Jonah Michael said to me last week, is that defensive players don't sell for big money.
Yep.
And again, I'm stealing this from Jono, so Jono, I'm quoting you directly. And if they did, Gary Payton autographs would be selling for $1,000. I think you have to
Mhm.
keep that mantra in mind when you're buying this kid. This is like a better version of Herb Jones. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
what's the point? Where is this gonna end up? And actually,
Mm,
I think you almost tied the pieces together quite nicely. Why don't you comp this guy directly to OG Anunoby? He's just won a
mhm.
championship, and this kid's prices are still higher than him. So, for me, that's a little bit of a red flag in terms
Yep.
of how much money I should be putting into this kid.
And that price will drop. So like his price will go down because he's getting the rookie premium right now. Next year,
Absolutely.
once the new rookies come into play and he's a first year player, like failing him having a breakout year and turning into a superstar, who knows, right? But he would have to like have a breakout year and turn into a superstar for his price to go up from where it is right now. I'm a betting man. I don't like the odds of that.
That's right. All right, man, final thoughts. What have you got for us?
Look, really, really excited for next year and what the new seasons will bring. A lot of retro cards are actually getting a lot of love right now. The MJ market is super hot. Like
Crazy.
base cards, base cards. I've some base cards are just going for stupid prices right now. I'm actually seeing in the Shaquille O'Neal world, his retro inserts are going up a lot. I think it's most likely because of MJ. The MJ, the rising ship drags everybody up,
I
and
think that
he
could
is
influence, but I also wonder too with Shaq, it's just that people are starting to realize how undervalued this kid is.
he is so undervalued. Like his
Yeah.
autographs, you can still pick them up for $300.
The
You know,
autographs, he signs a lot, so I'm not
yeah,
super convinced on that, but like his
yeah.
short printed
His inserts, yeah,
inserts and those sort of chase cards, I think
and
at some point the market was going to turn. I think you've started to see that already. So
and you
yeah,
you consider no, and you consider some of the hit rates on some of these cards. It is
yeah,
near impossible. Like 4,500 packets. Like how many cases do you have to open to get this card? Like, and the price is like $500. That's dirt cheap. That is actually
yeah.
dirt cheap considering how much
But
I'd have to open. When you go into like some of these other cards, this is why MJ cards are so expensive now. Is because yeah, people factored that in as well with the MJs,
yeah, right.
and there's a 1 in 4,000 chance of getting the MJ, and the MJ is already a $10,000 card. Well, guess what? This is now $100,000 card. Like goddamn, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, but no, I really love this finals. I'm so excited. NBA really, like the NBA needed this. We needed this finals. It was
interesting.
exciting. It was exciting. It was, it had me on my feet. It had me excited. Like that Spurs OKC series was a bit of a snooze fest for me. Like it was like one was a blowout, one was a blowout, one was a blowout. Like it's only the two good games were basically game one and the last game.
I
Like
was
the rest of
captivated by that series, man. I loved
yeah,
it.
yeah, the
The
blowout to
Wemby
blowout.
versus SGA, it was
Yeah.
more just how different the two teams
Mm.
were. Like that, I
Yeah.
love that about basketball. How there's a
Mm.
billion different ways you can play it, and that was just all on display for me. Yeah,
I enjoyed the final series, Knicks versus Spurs. I'm very happy that was how it went down. Was close games, really tight. Every possession counted. No blowouts. Like no real blowouts happened in this final.
yeah,
It was just balls to the wall all the way through, which is great. So and obviously the Knicks breaking their long drought was also very exciting to see.
yeah,
But
definitely.
I'm excited to see how Wemby and the Spurs reload for next year. This is not the end for them.
No,
He'll definitely be back. You know.
thank you so much, Joe, for coming on, mate. Is there anything you want to drop or plug, or any projects that you're working on that you want to tell people about?
Look, I've got some other projects coming along, but like Shaq Fu 32 page is always live. Like if people want to hit me up for questions about the hobby,
What's your
questions about
Instagram
like
handle again? Tell the people.
is Shaq Fu 32 is my Instagram handle. And like, look, I do answer a lot of questions. I do try to check it as often as I can. I'm at the moment I'm kind of working through a side project which is called Grail Chasers, where we're basically buying and selling and consigning cards, collectibles, mainly collectibles at the moment, like old pop culture. So something a little different from cards, but it is very near and dear to my heart. So really fun to handle some toys again.
Are you looking to accept consignments from other people? So should people DM you if they want to consign some stuff with
Oh
you?
look, yeah, if they got stuff that they need some help selling, yeah, hit me up in the DMs through my Shaq Fu 32 at the moment. Grail Chasers isn't live as of yet, but still a work in progress. But that is something that I'm very excited and I'm working on with another friend of mine, Hokage, Hawk, and we'll be definitely hoping to bring that up live pretty soon.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you everyone at home for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Can you please stick around for like 30 seconds? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah, easy,
Yeah.
brother.
Shout out Sports Edit 657 AJ collects cards, the card experience, Leroy, Spiros.collectibles, JB_cards_NBA, and of course Adam Tyndall. Thank you so much, guys. We will catch you for the next one.